Hey, everybody. Welcome to Frame This Podcast. I'm Philippe.
My name is Nate.
And today we're talking to Stunt Man extraordinaire, Sean Lyle. Sean Lyle, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for being on.
Thank you, guys. I'm excited, man. It should be fun.
I did a Steve Brule there. Yes, that was my Steve Brule.
Rub your dingus.
Rub your dingus, yes. Sean
is a stuntman. He's worked on HBO shows like Lovecraft Country and a couple of CW shows. Sean, could you introduce yourself to our limited audience and kind of describe what it is to
we got people
throw
listening
yourself
in Portugal
at objects
now.
for a living?
I just checked the stats. We got people in Portugal listening, so thank you, Portugal.
All right. Well, my name is Sean Lyle. I'm originally from West Virginia, but I currently live in Florida, and I've been a stuntman for the past 2 years. Like you said, I've been on a few TV shows and some small stunt roles, and I currently work at Universal Orlando in the Jason Bourne stunt show. So, yeah.
Could you describe that to me? I think you were trying to over the interwebs, and I couldn't quite get a grasp on what that was.
What the show is, the live show? So Universal has a show called the Bourne Stuntacular, and it's basically, I wouldn't say it's a continuation of the movies, but it's kind of like an amalgamation of all the movies put together, and kind of just like, so I play Jason Bourne in the show. That's the role I do. And
hot.
Exactly. Thank you.
I'm doing it for all the kids, for all the youngins out there. I don't know. Is that the lingo? Hot. That's fire. That's fire.
That's fire. Yeah. There you go. But basically, the show follows Jason Bourne as he, fights people. There's a fight on top of a car. I'm jumping on buildings. It's hard to explain if you haven't seen it live, but it is incredible, man. There's a huge screen it's almost half of a football field wide, and that's like the background of the show, and things like seamlessly blend in and out of the screen and the stage, and it's really cool, man.
So you guys are using like that like the augmented reality like backdrops that the Mandalorian uses.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like that, exactly. Except
it's like a projection.
Is it? It's not a green screen or a blue screen.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So for the Mandalorian, they build virtual sets where the set is surrounded by 360 degrees of massive LCD screens. So the set they use Unreal 5, which is what they use in video games.
Okay.
And so the camera is mapped to basically, so the actors are on set, like imagine like a octagon, like a boxing octagon.
Mm-hmm.
And so the actor will be doing their thing, but the camera and the screens are synced. So when the camera's panning in and out and like doing, just filming,
mm-hmm.
the screen moves to create that parallax effect, even though it's not actually like, it's a digital set.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That's the future of movies. Great.
Yeah. Go John Favreau.
100%. 100% that's where it's going.
No, for real though. Like how does that, I mean, you're not interacting with a green tennis ball, like people were on the Avengers set, but like how does that...
Or Star Wars Episode 1.
With a Jar Jar like all the way up here.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Does that change have you had, I mean, you've obviously performed on like an actual set before versus having a digital backdrop. How does that change your performance? Does it?
Hold on. Sorry. It froze for like a whole minute.
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Good. All right, sweet. So where are we at?
How does the digital background affect your performance?
I mean, we do interact with the screen. Sometimes there's like a button we push on an elevator. There's people on the screen. And we kind of interact with them sometimes. And there's also a treadmill on the stage. So we walk on the treadmill and the screen moves. So it looks like we're moving through like the landscape or whatever. Yeah, man. And there's these huge set pieces that are like these big buildings and stuff that will move across the stage. The screen moves with them. And it's like I said, man, it's hard to explain if you haven't seen it. There's videos online, of course, but it's incredible, man.
We have our
It's
homework.
incredible.
Yeah, we have our homework to do. How did you? I guess this is the burning question. Like, how did you get started in this? Like, what got you to this point of becoming a stunt man? And why is this your passion?
So that is a good question, because I feel like I might have a little more of an unorthodox way of getting into it. A lot of stuntmen and stunt women are former athletes and gymnastics, like actors, everything, stage performers. I was not. I didn't even play sports growing up. Like I was a little fat kid growing up, and I was shy. I had serious stage fright. And so, like I said earlier, I grew up in West Virginia, and there it's not really a, stage acting place. People play sports. That's about it. And
right.
So I grew up there, and I was always in the movies. I was always into like heavy metal. I was into pro wrestling. I was into like stuff like that. Like people, want to see in pro wrestling.
Phil loves his pro wrestling.
This is going to be fun.
Awesome.
Every now and then we'll have a guest that's also into pro wrestling, and I just take a back burner for that.
They just chills out for a while.
But yeah, so I was always into stuff like that. So I wasn't really into sports or anything. I was shy, and I just kind of grew up. I had my group of friends and stuff. Like I said, I was always in the movies. I never really thought I was going to be in them or anything. I never really wanted to be an actor, but I was like, being in movies would be cool. And I think it was around 2018. I was working at a Planet Fitness. I was a custodian at a Planet Fitness, and my friend was really he wanted to start making movies, his own like short films and stuff. And he asked me if I wanted to help. I was like, of course, man. Yeah. And we had a short film festival that we entered ourselves into. And we were trying to think of like, what kind of movie do we want to make? We were like, everyone's going to be making these like movies with meaning and like trying to send a message. We're like, nah, man, we're going to make an action movie. We're going to make this short little action movie. And I had never done stunts before. So I just kind of started looking up stuff online. Like, how do you do this? How do you make it look good on camera? And so we made this little short film with a little fight scene and stuff. And after doing it, I was like, man, that was a lot of fun. Like I definitely want to do more of that. So I started looking online, like, how do you become a stunt man or get into this? And I just Googled stunt school. I was like, I don't even know if that's a thing, but stunt school. And the first thing that popped up was this stunt camp called the John Zimmerman Stunt Camp. And it was in Florida. And I looked it up, and I was looking at the price, and I was like, I mean, the price is a little high, but I really want to do it. So I quit my job at the Planet Fitness, and I started a new job at like in the oil and gas industry, which I had no experience in, but I was like, you make a lot of money real fast. And so I did that job for maybe like 9 months. I saved up $10,000, and I moved down to Florida by myself, just fit everything I put into my car, and I moved down here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, taking a risk.
Yeah, exactly. So I went through the stunt camp, and it was a great experience. It was like basically like a crash course on everything you need to know to be a stuntman. And, a lot of people go through it.
Crash course.
Yeah, exactly. Literally a crash course. But yeah, so actually I went to the stunt camp before I moved to Florida. I took a week off work, and I went down. I stayed in a hotel room like a mile away from the stunt camp, and I went to the stunt camp for the whole week. And before I left, one of the people who was instructing it, his name was Mitchell Warren. He's also a stunt man. He said, "Hey man, like you should think about pursuing this and maybe moving down here." I was like, "I might, man, I might." And I went back home, worked for a couple more months, and I moved down here. And now Mitchell is one of my best friends.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
So like, how does finding jobs as a stunt person look like? Do you have an agent like an actor would, or do you just like, is it a contracted position, like based on the project? Like,
yeah. So I'm sure some stuntmen do have agents. I don't. It's not really something you need an agent for. A lot of it now is kind of based on honestly who you know and who can kind of get your foot in the door. So luckily, like I said, my friend Mitchell, he's actually a second generation stuntman. His father's a stuntman. So
that's wild.
It runs in the family.
Like, that's so cool.
So, like I moved down here and I was training with him and like doing stuff like that. And I actually got a job at a gymnastics gym as a coach. I know nothing about gymnastics, but I got the job there because the stunt camp was actually held at the gym. Mm-hmm. So I kind of had my foot in there. I got a job there and I was working. And one day he texted me and he was like, "Hey man, send me your stuff. Send me your headshot, your resume, your stunt reel, whatever." And I sent it to him. And then about 15 minutes later, I get a call from a number in Georgia. I answer it and they're like, "Hey, Sean, this is so-and-so with Lovecraft Country. Would you be available these days to come down for a fitting, a costume fitting?" I was like, "Oh God, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Awesome. Yeah.
That's the call you drop everything to go do.
Yeah. And that's on it for me, at least. That's kind of how it's worked since the movie industry, it's not really big in Florida anymore. It's more in Georgia is where a lot of stuff is made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know a lot of The Walking Dead shot in Georgia.
Yeah. And a lot of most of the Marvel stuff is shot in Georgia as well. But so yeah, it's basically how it works. You don't wait around. I mean, I'm not waiting around. I'm working and I'm constantly training and stuff like that. But yeah, you kind of wait and then you get your foot in the door. You start meeting more coordinators and more other stuntmen. And yeah, man, it's just kind of networking who you know. And then, yeah.
So when you say training, what does training look like for a stuntman that doesn't have something specific they're training for? Like if you're just kind of like, I mean, you don't wait for jobs, but when you're not working for something specific, like what does training look like?
So a lot of pretty much everything, anything you can learn. Fighting. So doing like boxing drills, kickboxing drills, and then learning how to fall, which is a big thing in stunts. Just so it sounds a little ridiculous.
That's like day one. You got to learn how to fall.
Learn how to fall, fighting and falling and stuff. So, a lot of stuff like just going to, like we have a gymnastics gym that we train at. So there's kind of like spring floor. So it's not as hard as a normal floor, but they'll literally just throw ourselves on the ground and practice how to fall and how to do it safely and how to make it look cool. And we'll record it and film these little fights and stuff just to practice and, always be ready. And then obviously,
so your reel is just like jackass stunts, like
almost, yeah, dude. Like honestly,
okay.
It's kind of how I feel sometimes. Like we're just like we'll be in the middle of like a park or something, but just like putting a fight together and fighting each other while people are kind of like, what are these crazy assholes
in the wild? But with stuntmen. That's crazy though. Just like practicing throwing yourself against like inanimate objects.
Oh yeah,
and how to do it safely as a job. That just like. I mean, exactly. I hurt myself involuntarily, like, and I do it for free.
I hurt myself involuntarily all the time. I'm clumsy as hell, dude. I'm like the world's clumsiest stuntman, which probably isn't a great thing to say, but it's true.
So speaking of generational occupation, what is like as you learn more about the industry, like, is there like a Mac Daddy of like stuntmen? Like I know Buster Keaton himself was like really influential in just like the physical comedy and like the stunt game. But like, do you have any inspirations as far as like who you watch reels of to try to be better at your stuff?
That's a good question. Honestly, I look up to my friends a lot. My friend Mitchell is like, he's amazing. He's younger than me, but he has like so much experience in this business already. And it helps that his father like is also a stuntman, but his father, he's a great stuntman. What is his name? He is Captain America's stunt double. What is his name? Sam. I can't think of it right now, but he's a great stuntman. I look at his stuff a lot. I mean, really, I don't know. There's a lot of names, but pretty much anyone, man. I will sometimes literally just look up stunt reel on YouTube and I will watch people's stuff and I'll be like, I didn't even realize that was that person, or I just looking up random fights on YouTube or random balls and stuff like that. I mean, it's everywhere. There's influences everywhere.
Do you get into weapons training at all as a stuntman, or is that a different field altogether?
No, 100%, 100%. That is part of it. I personally haven't yet. This is not something I've gotten into yet. In the Bourne show, I do shoot a gun. It's like 4 rounds. So we go through a yearly course about safety and stuff for that. But yeah, 100%. That is definitely part of being a stuntman, is learning how to handle a weapon.
That's another interesting question, is like the whole certification aspect of it. Is there like
is OSHA
I was literally
on your ass all the time?
Is there an OSHA regulatory section for stunt work?
Probably. I haven't really gotten into that yet. Like, I'm sure there's definitely a safety.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm part of SAG-AFTRA, which is like the Screen Actors Guild. So that's a big thing to get when you're a stuntman, is to get your SAG card, which is a physical card, but that really helps getting jobs and stuff too, because that's just like, that's almost what you need to be in to be a stuntman and to get on films and TV shows to be SAG. Yeah, I mean, there is an OSHA. I'm sure that's probably part of SAG. I don't know. Like I said, I've been in it for 2 years. I haven't had any issues with it so far, but safety is like the number one priority in stunts. That is what everyone wants over anything looking cool or looking badass. We want it to be safe all the time.
What is that? Because I know, especially with like CGI nowadays, you can like paint out safety equipment like after the fact. Like, do you ever feel like the safety aspect impinges on your ability to do a stunt? Like, have there ever been times where it could have been done better, like without it, or like?
Me personally, no. I mean, like I said, if you're with an experienced and responsible stunt coordinator and stuntman, they want it to be safe. So they don't care if, it looks better if he doesn't wear this pad or if he doesn't do this. They go, no, if it's safe and you feel comfortable, wear this pad. We'll figure it out later. Like, we want you to be safe, because sometimes you're not going to get it in that first take. So you can't like hit the ground as hard as you can that first take with no pads and expect to get up and do it 5 more times,
Yeah.
So that's why it's all about safety. You got to save your body, because you might have to do it more than once.
Because I know sometimes there's like only one time a take can go. Have you been in that situation before where like you had to get it right the first time and not have, like 5 takes to do it in, with like a, like a car crash or something involving, I guess, automobiles in general?
I haven't been a part of that yet. No one's ever told me like, hey, you have to get it in this one shot or like you're out. But there's been times where like I've just gotten it in the first take and they're like, awesome, perfect.
Awesome.
Like,
okay.
Go home. But yeah, I'm sure there are definitely when it's on a bigger scale, like you said, like a vehicle or an explosion or stuff like that takes a long time to set up. They'll for sure be like, let's try to get this in the first take if we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what the communication would be like, because the director or the stunt coordinator would have to like over communicate the movement that they want you to make and like the intricacies, like to get it the first time. Like, how important is like the communication and the dictation process to you as a stunt person? Because like with an actor, they're using facial expressions. With you, it's all body language.
Oh yeah. So communication, whether it's verbal or just like visual, making eye contact is a super important thing when you're fighting, doing a stunt fight. You're not going to throw a punch if you don't see that person's eye contact. That's what I was always taught. Like, don't throw a punch at someone who's not looking, But yeah, communication is very important. Like when I was on Black Lightning, the stunt I had to do was I had lines attached to me. Like I think I had like 2 in the front, 1 directly in the center. I had a couple on my back, a couple on the sides. And basically the stunt was Black Lightning shot lightning at me and I flew against the wall. And so it took a while to set up, but they were like, hey man, do it this way. Don't throw your head back. Like don't suitcase yourself, They'll tell you things like that. And of course I could have done it in a few more shots, but luckily we got it in 1. But yeah, there's definitely communication is key. It is key when it comes to stunts.
How often does so you might have heard this before. But when I was watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where Brad Pitt's DiCaprio's like supposedly his like stunt double or whatever, and they work together a lot, they look nothing like each other.
Yeah.
How often does
Magic of the movies.
I know, right? Oh, the 50s. How
It was the 60s, but it's okay.
they'd been working together for a while.
Well, it's true. Yeah.
How often does like an actor get paired with like a stuntman, and like, do you ever see like ongoing like working relationships because they're such a good match, or because like their body language is so similar? And is that something you'd be interested in like doing in the future?
That's like, to me at least, that seems like that's such a cush thing to get, is like if you find a person that's like, that guy looks like me, he's my stuntman, I want him every time. And there's definitely actors who have that in their contracts, will go, I want this person as my stuntman on this movie or whatever. I have friends who have that. I have friends whose parents have that. They're stuntmen. They have that. I don't really want to put their stuff out there, but yes, that is 100% a thing.
That's awesome.
Actors will have their own personal stuntman pretty much for every project they do.
I know in the Marvel movies, I know a number of actors have their own specific stuntman or stuntwoman that they've worked with before.
Save on costuming.
And yeah. How does it work though when actors want to do their own stunts?
So that's a good question. Obviously there's outliers like Tom Cruise, who he's like the producer on his movies, so he can do all of his own stunts.
Okay.
It's straight up like
that was my example I was going to use.
It's a legal thing, I think, mostly. It's I said, Tom Cruise.
I think it depends on like whose money's at risk.
Exactly.
If the actor like breaks a leg and the movie can't go on.
Yeah, exactly.
So is that correct? Like, since Tom Cruise is his own producer, like his money's on the line if he
it's his ass on the line pretty much. So he can do.
Scientology's money's on the line. Let's be honest here.
And I think, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for him, but I'm sure there are actors that maybe their ego gets in the way and they go, oh, I want to do all this, I can do it myself and stuff. But most of the time, if it's more than, a couple punches or a little fight scene or something, most actors will have a stunt double for that kind of stuff. It could be something simple as like someone tripping and falling on the ground. Like, they will have a stunt double for that.
Doesn't Jackie Chan do all of his own stunts too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's the GOAT. Jackie Chan is the best.
He's the GOAT of stunt. Okay.
100%.
Do you know what GOAT means, Phil?
Are you fucking kidding me?
You were asking what the kids say these days. Like 30 seconds ago. Anyway.
There are times, Sean, there are times.
I get it.
Did Harrison Ford do all of his own stunts in Raiders and like Indiana Jones?
I don't think so. I forget what I have a book by his stuntman. But no, I don't think he definitely didn't do all of it.
He has a stuntman to write a book that probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that like? I mean, actors are obviously paid a lot more than the stunt dude, but like, what's the normal like budgetary like allotment for like a stunt person? Like, and they're like, oh yeah, that person's really good, or like they're a really good match, but like we can't afford them. Like, how does that like part of the contract process work?
So as far as I know, at least, when you're part of SAG,
There's a
there will be a set rate for, what you're doing. So if you're there for one day, you'll get a set rate for that day. There's a daily contract, there's weekly contracts. And then of course, if you do something like crazy, they'll call it like an adjustment or a stunt bump. So like, you'll get your pay for the day, and then say you get set on fire or something, they'll pay. That's up to the stunt coordinator, I believe, to be like, hey, give this guy an extra $100, $200, whatever it may be.
So you got to be real friendly with the stunt coordinator.
I mean, it helps. It helps for sure.
It helps. Have you ever been set on? Since you brought up being set on fire, have you ever been set on fire?
Yes, I have been several times.
Do you have any of that on tape? Can we post that?
Yeah, there's some stuff on my Instagram, I believe, and I have other videos, but yeah, there's definitely something on my Instagram being set on fire.
We are still working on our like social media game.
Yeah,
and
we're getting there.
We've been lacking in the guest content.
We're getting
there.
But that'd be
Mike sets a hat on fire. He sets himself on fire.
He sets himself on fire. Do you have like in like from your memory, do you have the most craziest stunt you ever done? Or like what's your like do you have a favorite stunt?
Favorite stunt that I've done that I
Yes.
want to do.
Or both.
Yeah, we'll do both.
So some of my favorite stunts, I really like doing high falls, which are basically you're up on a high height and you fall, jump off into an airbag or, pads or something. That's a lot of fun. It's mostly because I used to be afraid of heights, so it kind of scared me.
Yeah.
But now it's really fun. Yeah, I love doing high falls. I love falling on the ground. That sounds weird. I love falling on the ground and doing wrecks is what we call them.
Okay.
And one thing I really want to do that I haven't got to do yet is get hit by a car. Like I want to do a car wreck so bad. Like that seems like so much fun to me. I really want to do that.
Why do you want to get hit by? I mean, I guess it's a thing you stunt guys do because you just stunt men and stunt women do because you all are crazy.
Yeah.
Hit by a car. How does that work?
Well, I mean, I haven't done one. I've seen them. So you have a stunt driver most of the time.
Yeah.
If, you're going by the book, but you have a stunt driver who knows how fast they need to go. And obviously as the stuntman who's getting hit by the car, you know how to manipulate your body. You know how to kind of lift up a little bit before the car hits you so it doesn't like kneecap you and break your legs or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah,
So it, like, picks
there's
you up
strategy
and-
to everything.
Yeah.
So are you talking about like a roll over on the car, like hit
Yes,
the windshield and
exactly.
hit the
Yeah.
damn. God.
I want to do that really bad. I'm not too into like actually driving the cars. I'll let other people do that. I'm
Yeah.
not super that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
but getting hit by a car, I really want to do that.
Are you allowed to wear pads under your like street clothes
Oh,
or
yeah, of
whatever?
course.
Okay, so you do wear pads.
course.
Okay.
That's what's cool about being a male stuntman is that usually you have, long sleeves on pants so you can fit a lot of stuff under it. I'll tell you what, man, female like stunt women, they are the toughest people in the world, man. Because sometimes they have to do fights in like bathing suits or like, lingerie or whatever, and they can't wear pads, or if they can, they're very thin. And I'm like, man, those girls, I don't know how
Let's
to
give
do
it up for the ladies.
Give it up for the ladies, man. They're killing it,
women.
dude. I don't know how they do it, but yeah. Luckily, as a stunt man, I'm able to wear pads most of the time.
Yeah, I was watching one of the stunt artists react to, and they had the girl on that was Elodie Young's stunt woman on Daredevil, and she was talking about some of the fights on the show, and they were pretty cool.
Yeah.
I had a question. It was on the tip of my tongue. I forget what it was. It was something along the lines of like stunts you wanted to do. Do you have any shows that you would like to work on? Or I know like as a stunt person, a lot of the falls are probably the same. A lot of the stunts that you do are probably the same. So like, are there any projects that you're like not super interested in? Like, what does that world look like? It's like, it sounds like fun, but it's not really my thing. Or are there any projects that you like would really want to go for?
I would love to be on Cobra Kai. I love that show. The stunts are amazing. I love I don't know how many more seasons that show's gonna go, but
I don't know how long is Ralph Macchio going to live.
Yeah, I would love to be on that show. I would love to be in a Marvel show or a movie. I think that would be cool. I've already been in a DC show, so that would be cool to be in a Marvel show. I would love to be a stunt double for someone. That would be awesome. Like on a run of a movie.
I am this person's stunt double.
Yeah, exactly. That would be awesome. I mean, really, I'm up for anything, honestly.
Because you kind of have to be, don't you, as a stunt man or
Especially
stunt woman?
at this point in my career, yes, I have.
Have you ever
to be.
like shown up to a job or like shown up to a shoot and they're just like, oh yeah, we need you to do this, and you're just like, fuck no.
No, that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
I've definitely gone to things. I've gone to things and they've been like, this is what you're gonna do, and I'm like, that's all I'm gonna do. Like, so since I'm in Florida, they film a lot of Telemundo shows in Miami, and so I've been there a couple times to do those shows. And I've been down there times and never done anything. I've just been there just in case they needed a stunt double or whatever. And then I've been down there and all they wanted to do was throw a football at my back and, and then I go home. But that's the thing, man.
It's a payday.
Sometimes it'll just be that.
Wow.
That's really funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're like that dude in the football suit that just get beamed on the back of the head. That's about it.
I mean, I guess it's like your adrenaline's going, like getting to the shoot, and like because you got to amp yourself up for whatever happens. But then, okay, we're gonna throw a football at you.
Say, man, you gotta be fluid, man. You gotta be ready for anything, whatever they want you to do.
So I kind of want to talk about wrestling a little bit.
Whoa, Nate wants to talk about wrestling? What?
So we know it's staged, right?
Yes.
Where do those guys normally start their career? Are they as stuntmen, or are they as like a personality that wants to start wrestling?
That's a good question.
I'll
so
let Sean
actually,
take it from here.
before I got into stunts, I was into wrestling. I actually got into wrestling. I got trained, and I had a couple matches actually back home. So I think that helped a lot when it came to getting into stunts, because I learned how to fall without pads on a wrestling mat, which, contrary to popular belief, is not soft. It hurts.
No, they're not. They're
But yeah, I mean, just like me, I think there are people that grow up watching wrestling and going like, that looks cool, I want to do that. And some people try it. Some people, obviously go on to do great things with it. Me, I was like, I did it and I was like, this is awesome. I still respect the hell out of it. And I still watch it. I'm still a huge fan. But I got into stunts and I was like, this is kind of more my thing.
You live in my favorite wrestling promotion state. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Is that AEW?
Hell yeah.
I actually went to AEW Homecoming last week. The week
Oh,
before.
you son of a... Ah!
That was my first AEW. It was so much fun, man. I loved it.
Where were your seats?
My seats were, dude, I got really good seats. They were like 2 rows back from the front, I think.
I'm going to look for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and watch that and look for you.
I was on opposite the hard cam side, so
Okay.
I don't know if you might randomly have to see me when they do shots of the crowd or
Maybe.
something, but
yeah.
I was wearing a Ric Flair shirt. It's like
Nice.
it's like one of these shirts, but it had Ric Flair on it. So
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I actually listened to your guys' podcast with Mike Felker on the way back from that show.
No shit. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
He's one of our
Thank you.
12 listens.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
No
you.
problem.
That was a really solid conversation.
Speaking of wrestlers, I know one wrestler on AEW, Chris Statlander. I listened to her AEW Unrestricted, and she started out as a stunt woman.
I had no idea. That's awesome.
Yeah, she started as a stunt woman. She went to a school, and she's from New Jersey, so she went to a school in like New York and did the whole thing. And did she do any shoots? That's the only I can remember the beginning, and now I remember the end. I forget everything in the middle. I hate that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I know.
I had no idea about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, she was a stunt woman, or she's trained as a stunt woman. So
that makes sense, man. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, honestly.
Loosely scripted stunts.
loosely,
strung together.
oh
as
my.
a-
Okay, what's the craziest thing I've seen? I know they do use padding and stuff in a lot of the stunts that I've seen, like the what do they call it? The cage match. Blood and Guts, when Jericho fell off the cage. That was padding. We all knew it was padding at the bottom, but like, come on, you gotta.
But still, I mean, he has to fall backwards.
Yeah.
To those mats. I mean, that could go wrong.
It's true.
100%.
That's true. The scariest thing I've seen is when Matt Hardy took that fall on the concrete with him and Sammy Guevara. It was on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But he took that.
Exactly
I thought he died.
And there's no way it felt good. There's absolutely no way it felt good.
I don't know how he's freaking standing today, because he hit like.
Those guys are built different. Him and Jeff Hardy, they're built different, man. Like, you think about Jeff Hardy, he's been injured like seriously a couple times in his whole career, and he does some of the craziest shit, man.
And he's still doing it.
Exactly.
How does insurance work in the stunt industry? Is that something you personally pay for, or is that something that you're like that the like
SAG?
That pays for?
SAG definitely has its own insurance. I think some people have their own, because they have families or whatever. Maybe it's easier for them, but SAG definitely has an insurance plan. Yeah.
That must be super helpful, because I can't imagine the premiums on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Have you had a stunt that like went wrong and you got injured and you said, I'm not doing this anymore, but then the next day you're like, I can't stop doing this because I love what I do?
One that went wrong that I said I'm not going to do it. Well,
have there been any stunts that like broke you mentally
or physically?
No. none have broke me mentally yet. But I will say, stunts is, I think, more than a physical game, is a mental game, man. All of it is mental. But so a couple weeks back, maybe a month at this point. Actually, during the Bourne show, like I said, there's a treadmill on the stage, and it's flush with the stage. So, and there's a part in the show where we roll onto it and then we crawl onto it, which I've done a million times at this point. But this time I rolled onto it and my shoelace got caught in the treadmill. And then I couldn't get it out because it's a moving treadmill.
Right.
It actually sucked my leg into it and caught my leg in the treadmill. And I had a pretty nasty burn, contusion on my leg for a couple weeks that it kept me from working. But, I'm back now. I just have like a hairless patch on my leg now. But
right.
I never said I'm not going to do it again because I was like, I kind of have to. It's part of my job.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That sucks. I don't think I've tripped running on a treadmill before, but I've never like gotten stuck in one.
Yeah.
Escalators still freak me out a little bit as to like when to hop on or off. Just a little bit.
Yeah. An escalator can screw you up, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I never underestimate anything now. After that treadmill got me.
So do you? You're originally from West Virginia. Like, how does your family feel about you injuring yourself on a daily basis? And like, are they supportive of your? Was it like they had to see you succeed at it first, or were they like, go to school? Like, what was that whole conversation like when you told them I'm booking it to Florida to hurt myself?
First of all, they're 110% supportive of me. I told them since I was probably in like middle school, I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to like go to college or anything. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was a kid, but I knew
just not school. Just no.
I knew I knew it was something I just knew I wasn't going to go to school or pursue anything that way. I didn't know what it was yet. And obviously I found out, but no, they're completely supportive. Obviously they want me to be safe and everything like that, but they understand, it's part of the game. You're going to get hurt sometimes. I always have bumps and bruises. Sometimes I don't know where they came from, but luckily I haven't been too seriously injured so far.
I'm deep in thought. It's my thought
ruminating.
Phase. Why is stunt work an art?
Why is it an art? I think just like any other art, you can use it to express your visions you have, your ideas. Like so many times me and my friends will go, oh man, I had like this vision of this fight in like a hallway and it looks like this and this music's in the background and this is how we're going to put it together. This is how we're going to edit it. And I think that's why it's an art, man. You can use it to express yourself just like music or painting or whatever it may be.
Do they play music when you're doing the stunts or is it empty? Like quiet?
No, not usually.
No.
Huh. I mean, during his Universal show, there's got to be
of course
there's track going on and
music and sound effects and stuff. But but on that note, one other thing I really want to do is do stunts in a music video for a band I like. That would be fucking awesome.
We can probably make that happen.
Mike is directing his.
We can make.
I'm all for it.
Mike, Mike.
Let's ask Mike. Mike's directing his next music video, so
I'm down for it.
See if he needs a stuntman.
If he needs one, yeah.
Here I am.
Sean, do you have any aspirations of directing or becoming a stunt coordinator someday and working on sets to try and like have the director's vision or the writer's vision, come to fruition?
For sure. I think that's like almost the smartest way to go is once you get to the point where maybe you're like, my body can't really handle this anymore. Then you become a stunt coordinator and then you can kind of control it and you can use, your skills to help other people create their vision.
Yeah.
100%. I would love to do that one day, to be a stunt coordinator, a director or something like that. I think that would be awesome.
I think Chad Stahelski was the stunt coordinator for the Matrix trilogy. And then that's the guy that directed John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right. I was thinking of Jackie Chan though, because he does everything.
I think a lot of stuntmen want to pursue becoming a stunt coordinator just to continue doing what they love when maybe their body can't really handle it too much.
Sounds like working in construction.
Do you have a favorite Jackie Chan film?
A favorite Jackie Chan film? God. Not one off the top of my head, man.
Okay.
Like I'll literally watch anything he does, dude. Like anything.
I don't know
several times.
Yeah,
I will
no.
look up like compilations of his stuff on YouTube.
I don't know how he's done it for so long though, and
He's
like
what,
been able
70?
to. I think older than that now.
Is he?
Got to be at least in the 70s, yeah, right?
Hey Siri. Or not. Fine, be like that.
I'm gonna look this up because I gotta know.
Yeah, I think he's like 70. But yeah, being on the creative side of a field that you know inside and out is definitely one of the most exhilarating things ever, because like
Sure.
you're able to articulate that. I mean, it's like working for a boss that hasn't, put the time that you have. Imagine being the boss that knows what they're trying to get you to do.
Mhm.
Are you seriously subtracting?
He's 67.
Told you.
Wow. Okay. All right, Jackie Chan.
I'm trying to think, like, how do you teach yourself new stuff? Like, what is the learning loop look like for a stunt? Like, like, oh, that's a really cool stunt, I want to see if I can do that. Or like, are there, forums or books on stunting and like, I don't know.
Stunting.
Yeah, stunting.
That's a verb.
That's where you wear like your Air Max Jordans and like,
Are you talking about fronting?
No, stunting.
Oh, stunting. Okay. I thought you were talking about fronting, but okay.
I think they're the same thing.
But like, I mean, when it comes to learning a new skill, like you said, I'll see something like on a movie or a TV show and I go, that looks cool. I want to learn how to do that. So me and my friends will get together and just start doing it, whatever it may be. Like a lot of the things we do to learn and to get better at certain things is take a fight from a movie and then recreate it ourselves. That helps us learn, one, how to sell like the punches on camera, learn our angles.
Yeah.
Whoever's recording it, it teaches them how to record the action. And we kind of take turns doing that. Like two people do a fight, one person will film it, then the next fight, it'll be someone else doing the fight, someone else recording it. I mean, that's kind of how we learn. It's kind of DIY.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's one thing that I found was interesting about the John Wick movies in particular, was that when they would rehearse their fights in the gym, they would include the cameraman. So the cameraman was like in on it from day one. And I was having this conversation with my younger brother and like trying to explain to him why that movie was as good as it was. And he's like, it's just another action movie. I'm like, no, it's not. There's like born fucked up action movie filmography, action movie cinematography. Like,
you're 100% right.
So
and we
bad.
talk about that all the time, is like John Wick definitely came in and changed the way people film action, which is awesome, because there's outliers here and there of like great movies that will use the camera great and you can see what's going on. But 100%, I think the way the Bourne films were kind of filmed, especially the fights, it almost ruined action movies for a few years. Like there's just the shaky cam and you can't really tell what's going on. And it wasn't good. But thankfully that era is over, I'm pretty sure.
They're like, Matt Damon is the, really big money suck on our budget. We can't afford tripods. What are we going to do?
Dude, and that's the thing. Like, so the fight coordinator for the Bourne films, his name's Jeff Amata. He actually came in and trained some of our guys at our show to do the fights and stuff, which was really cool. And if you go and you look up the behind the scenes and like of the fights, they look really cool, man. But you can't really tell when they translate it to the camera because of the way they filmed it. It's kind of a shame, but yeah.
Have you ever like gone through a really cool stunt and like, yo, that looked awesome, and then you watch like the footage of it and you're just like, that's what you got? Like, I just put half of my day into this and that's the cut you're gonna go with?
Yeah, that's definitely happened. Luckily for me, it's been on stuff with just like me and my friends, so we can kind of just go back and film it again. And the stuff I've done on TV has turned out pretty well, obviously, because they're professional and they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But that 100% happens. I mean, there's endless stories of people who like, oh man, I was on this movie, I did this awesome stunt, and then like you watch the movie and like you see it for a second, and like so sometimes they cut it out. Like, unfortunately, that happens. Like they cut it out and stuff happens like that.
We need 10 seconds here.
Yeah, that's my fear. Every time I film something, I'm like, they probably cut it out. You're not even going to see me, whatever. Like,
I gotta go look up that Black Lightning scene where you get struck with lightning.
I'll have to show you the
see
fight
how
that he
you
did.
fly.
I'll have to show you the fight he did in Lovecraft.
Yes.
Got hit with a
that
baseball
was really
bat.
fun. That was a lot of fun.
Ow.
And
Baseball was hurt.
freezing. It was freezing there, man.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it
that's
was
another question I wanted to ask. Is like, how does the weather and the temperature play a part in? I mean, if you're on a set, it's indoors usually, but like on location, like how does weather affect what you guys do?
So, just from my experience, when we were filming Lovecraft, it was in November and it was in Georgia. So it was pretty cold. Like, and we were outside. It was in this little town that they had like reconstructed to make it look like the 20s or whatever it was. So it was freezing. And luckily they had like these tents with heaters in them. So as soon as they yell cut, we run in those tents and we kind of heat ourselves up. They say, all right, guys, let's go. We run out there. We weren't wearing jackets in the scene. So I was wearing like a very thin dress shirt and like pants and dress shoes. It was like, it sucked, but yeah, luckily there's people there that's kind of their job to make sure you're safe and you're comfortable. Like in that scene, there's a part where I'm dead and Jonathan Majors is standing over me. And obviously they didn't do everything in one take. So I'm just kind of laying on this freezing ground, like just looking up at the stars.
Contemplating life.
Yeah,
What has led me to this point? Freezing my ass off, looking up at this dude.
What am I gonna have for dinner tonight?
Oh yeah, but I'm just sitting there like, oh my god. And luckily, there's a person there who run over, put a huge blanket over top of me, and I just have to lay there because continuity wise, they want me to be in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, we'll just run over, put a blanket over you, and then when it's time to go again, we'll pull it off you, and we'll do the rest of the scene. And I don't know, dude, I probably laid there for like 30 minutes just on the ground.
Dead bodies don't shiver.
What were you
So
credited
stop
as?
it.
Dead guy number 3?
In Lovecraft, I
Angry
was
townfolk.
Additional voices.
I think I was teenage thug number 5 in Lovecraft. I could be wrong.
Nice.
But it was something like that.
Nice.
What is the funniest like credit you've ever gotten?
Damn,
Teenage
that's
Thug
good.
is pretty funny.
Teenage Thug number 5 is pretty cool. And then on Black Lightning, I think I was just like officer number 2 or something. But
Oh,
so far,
no, not
dude,
officer number 2.
That should be the name of our.
You don't even
beer.
get a line.
in that show, I actually did get lines, that was really stressful for me. Like, because I'm not an actor. I never really acted before. I was like, oh god, and it was like 4 words. Like,
Well, neither
you
was
know,
Tommy
like, but I was so
Wiseau.
stressed out about it.
That's true. You're not Tommy. Yeah.
Dude, that's what we should name our beer. Thug number 5. Teenage Thug number 5.
Shh. We can't talk about that right now. Man. So is the scariest part walking onto set now when you have lines for a role?
Dude, I was just about to say that when I got there for Black Lightning. So
Did you know you had lines when you signed up?
originally I did. So about a month before that, I had gotten a email that asked me to audition for it, and they sent me the lines. I was like, all right, I mean, I guess I will. And I recorded the audition. I sent it off to him. Didn't hear anything for a couple weeks. And then one day I get a phone call and they're like, hey, can you come down this day and this day? I was like, sure, of course. Like, awesome. I got it. And then I get there and I'm looking at the script and our lines are cut out. And I was like, oh, thank God. I don't have to say anything. Like, I've just been blessed. Like, all I have to do is the stunts. And then, so we actually filmed the stunt part first. And then we filmed the stunts first and then went back and did the lines. And we're standing there at this part where I have to say the lines. And the part was we have to like bust down a door. And then the director's like, all right, you guys remember your lines? I was like, lines? I was like, I thought we weren't doing the lines. And she's like, no, we are. I was like, oh my God. And dude, it was literally like a sentence. But I was like, I was more stressed out about that than I was for the stunt.
That's the greatest. Okay, so stuntmen and women fear lines more than
Not all of them.
off.
Some of them take acting classes, which is something I should probably do.
Freeze,
But
turkey.
at this point, I'm not super comfortable with it.
That's funny. Yeah, my younger brother used to do just like homemade YouTube videos. He and a friend of mine, and some of the stuff is pretty funny. When we go back and watch it now, do you ever like watch your old reels and you're just like, I could have done X, Y, Z, or like that hand flick was unnatural, or like, you know.
Oh, dude! Every time I see myself on camera, I'm like, "Who the hell is this gangly dude?" Just like, but yeah, our first short film that we made, the one I was talking about, it's on YouTube. So, you can go and watch that if you'd like.
What's it called?
What's it called? Well,
it's just called Ruck. RUCK.
Nice.
Ruck. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll post a link to that somewhere.
That's where you like hike with a backpack, right?
Rucksack.
Yeah. The short film was about this backpack that we played robbers and we were trying to take, and the police were chasing us. It was like,
whole thing.
But that's on YouTube.
So what do you? I was watching some, like, speaking of, this is to backtrack a little bit back to the getting hit by a car. I was watching some behind the scenes on the second Quiet Place where Emily Blunt's like in the car and like the bus is like driving full force like towards her, and they did it all in one shot or whatever. When does like knowing or having taken classes on being a stunt performer, does that change how you perceive movies when you watch them? Like, are you more are you more critical, or are you like a little bit more understanding? Is like, oh yeah, that's a really tricky situation to be in. Like, how does that change? How does that change how you view movies now?
You're constantly analyzing it. Like even if it's not an action movie, even if you're watching like a rom-com and you see the smallest stunt of someone like falling down or something, or falling down the stairs, like you will analyze it. You'll go back and watch it again. You go, oh man, like that looked bad. Or if it's like an actor doing it, you go, hey man, for not having stunt experience, that was amazing. And yeah, you're constantly analyzing every stunt scene you see in any movie.
What is one that has like stood out to you in recent years where you're just like, I was not expecting that, but kudos. Like,
that's a great question. Oh man, that I wasn't expecting. That kind of surprised me.
Whether it's like a fall in like a comedy, or like I don't know, something crazy that just blew you away.
Oh man, nothing's coming to mind right now. I'll probably think of something eventually, but
probably because we haven't seen movies in the theaters in like 2 years.
That's true. I haven't seen a movie in a theater in a minute, but anytime I see something in like a comedy or something, and you see someone do a stunt, I'm like, damn, okay, I wasn't expecting that. And it always pops me, dude. Like so me and like 3 of my other friends went and saw Nobody, the Bob Odenkirk movie.
I haven't seen
theater.
it yet. I've heard it's really good.
That was the first movie we saw in theaters after COVID and after everything opened up. And I don't know if it's just because we were excited to be in the movie theater. We were like the only 4 people in the theater.
Nice.
But we were like, you'd think we were at a rock concert the way we were reacting to everything. Like we'd see someone like get shot or something. We'd go, oh my God. Oh, we were going crazy, and we were the only 4 people in the theater. Yeah. So that is one cool part about like getting in the stunts, is like seeing something, getting like hype about it and being like, that was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap it, I have one more question. What is the correct way to fall down the stairs? I'm always fearful I'm going to trip down the stairs one day or fall backwards. What's the correct way of falling down the stairs without hurting yourself?
So if you're falling down the stairs and you're not wearing pads already, which I assume you don't walk around your house with pads on. No. If you do, that's cool. I understand. I'm clumsy too.
Yeah, I got a beer gut. Whoa, man. Watch those. Watch that hand.
So if you're falling down the stairs, what you want to do is basically protect your joints and your head. So if you're falling down the stairs, you want to almost tuck your head and tuck your elbows and your ankles. That's the things you're going to hit probably the most. And you just honestly just go for it, bro. You just kind of got to go for it.
Okay. I'm going to go for it after this. After we wrap up this episode, I'm going to try it out.
Just warn me. I'll get my camera.
Yeah. Stunts.
Well, yeah, going into this, I had no idea what to expect, because like in the world of exploring art forms we're not familiar with,
not traditional art forms.
It's been a lot of fun.
Hey man, I was super excited to be a part of this, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, thanks for.
Is this your first podcast you've ever done, or
first ever?
Yeah. Whoa! Wow.
Awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
We'll high five you too. Sorry.
Sweet. Well, we do want to be respectful of your time. We got to get back to the editing process, but thanks so much, Sean, for being on. If I'm ever down in Florida, we'll have to say hi and
Stunts.
See what's
I'll
good
be
in
here.
the world of AEW.
Oh,
yeah.
you best believe I'm gonna head down to Daly's place and catch an AEW match. Oh my god!
Have to, bro.
What do tickets like those run?
The tickets I got, I think, were like, and I got them like the week before. It was just kind of an impulse thing. I think mine were like 100 and some, but those are really good seats too.
Yeah.
I mean, I was expecting like a couple $100.
What was your favorite match that night?
That night, I was honestly, it wasn't the greatest match ever, but I thought seeing Chris Jericho and Juventud Guerrero was awesome. Just because I've gone back and watched their like WCW matches, I was like, this is great. I have to be there.
Yeah, the timing was off. A
little bit, but I was like, I'll give it to him, whatever. Like,
it was,
and I love Jericho. He's one of my favorites.
But it was great seeing that flying Judas effect off the top rope. Yeah. I was like, he just pulled out another
I wasn't expecting it.
Variation. I know. No, you weren't expecting it. Okay.
And then seeing Malachi Black debut was really cool.
I gotta watch that match. I haven't seen it. I gotta watch it.
Who?
Yeah.
Malachi Black.
New wrestler?
No, he's an old wrestler from WWE, but he came over to AEW.
Is that like switching conferences in the NFL?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't know what that.
It'd be like
it's more like going from the NFL to like the CFL, the Canadian Football League, or something. I guess
that's a better way to describe it. But I think AEW's found their stride, and they're
100%. I agree.
Turning on all cylinders. We can watch that match now.
I don't
Nate.
sports.
We can watch that match now after we finish.
And look for Sean in the crowd.
Look for Sean in the crowd. All right, man. Thank you so much for being on with us. We really appreciate. Thank you for taking your time out of your day.
Before we go, are there any pieces of advice you would like to leave for someone potentially wanting to get into stunt work, and how can we find you on the internet?
If you want to find me on the internet, I don't really do anything else but Instagram. I don't really post too much, but I am Sean Lyle Stunts on Instagram. SeanLyle Stunts.
Short and sweet.
I'm mostly on Instagram. That's mostly what I post. And advice, and it's for anyone, whether you're getting the stunts or if you want to freaking buy your first house or whatever. I don't care. Just bet on yourself, man. If you believe in yourself, everything will it'll work out, man. And I found that out. Just have confidence and bet on yourself, and you'll be fine, man. Go for it. Whatever it is, go for it.
Nice. That's a great piece of advice.
On that note, stay hungry, y'all.
Stay hungry, stay creative.
And in lieu of Lyle's case, we say stay safe.
Stay safe.
Everyone stay safe.
Especially with that Delta variant coming back around. Stay safe.
Stunt life.
Go get vaccinated so we can go sweat and headbang together,
also
please.
check out a show at Universal Studios, Orlando.
Yeah. Yes.
The
Born
Stuntacular.
That's a great name.
It's like spectacular, but it's like stuntacular.
All right, everybody. Stay safe, stay creative, stay hungry.
Thank you. Stay safe.
See you, Sean.
See you guys.